Hi, and welcome to the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast. I'm your host, Tegan Thompson. I'm a book lover, a chocoholic, and an INTJ living in a world filled with extroverts. I made this podcast to share my experiences and struggles as an introverted perfectionist, and to bring the inner workings of an introvert's mind to introverts and extroverts alike. So grab a cup of tea and get comfortable. It's time to unmute. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast. I just want to start by saying happy Labor Day weekend. Thank you to everyone for the work and services that you provide, especially throughout this pandemic. I know that you kind of put yourself and your family and friends at greater health risk. So just thank you so much for everything that you've been doing, and keep it up. You're doing a great job. This week, we will be talking about taking time to celebrate yourself. I figured this would be pretty fitting with Labor Day coming in this weekend, and just acknowledging the work that you have done and taking time to celebrate it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is why you should celebrate yourself. Whether or not you acknowledge it, you complete and you accomplish many things throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout the year. And I know that society kind of has conditioned us to believe that things like working or going to school for over 40 hours a week, right? You can work a full-time job and work 60 hours a week. You can be a student, and including your going to physical classes, studying, taking exams, you're probably also hitting about 60 hours a week. And that is a lot of time if you think about it. And doing this without any breaks for months kind of has been conditioned into our brains to believe that it's not just normal, but also expected of everyone. And I want you to know it's not normal. I don't believe that, having to commit yourself to that many hours just to gain an education and then get a job that you work for probably over 40 years. Obviously, you might have more than one career throughout that time, but you're continuously working just so that you can retire in your 60s or 70s, maybe even your 80s, when it's kind of like you're maybe older than you would like to be, to kind of enjoy your retirement, right? I don't believe that is how we should be living life. But I know that that's kind of the expectation, and there's not much way around that. I'm not going to go too deep into that. That's a whole different conversation. But also just, you create a to-do list for yourself, that maybe you do a daily to-do list or a weekly one or whatever. And the things that you check off on those to-do lists are accomplishments that you should celebrate because you've completed things. And sometimes it can be hard just doing that. Celebrating the things that you complete is important. And for example, I completed my medical school applications, and I celebrated it for probably maybe 5 minutes. That might be generous. And I moved right on to the next thing I needed to do. I was like, okay, well, what's next? What do I need to worry about next? And that's just not a normal way of thinking. It's not a healthy thing to do. You should take the time to celebrate yourself, because whether or not it's big or small, they are accomplishments, things that you have completed, and it is important to acknowledge those things. So a couple reasons for celebrating yourself includes celebrating yourself recognizes your actions regardless of the results. So you take steps and you attempt to complete goals, and whether or not you successfully completed those, or whether or not you've completely crossed the finish line, is irrelevant to whether or not you should celebrate yourself, because you tried, you took those steps, and that is important, because if you don't take steps to complete goals, you cannot complete goals. And I know that sometimes it's hard to fail. Not sometimes, all the time. I know all the time it's hard to fail. But failure allows you to grow and to learn. And sometimes failure is important to life. So embracing that and sometimes celebrating it is maybe a little weird and counterintuitive, but a good way to acknowledge that you tried. And sometimes that's all you can do, is try and attempt to complete those goals or whatever it is. Another reason to celebrate yourself is because celebrating yourself creates validation and appreciation for your accomplishments through internal approval rather than external approval. And when you feel validated for your accomplishments because you're happy about it rather than someone else saying good job, then that creates self-esteem and engages in self-care, and it's really important to do that. And another reason why you should celebrate yourself is because it increases your motivation and your confidence in your abilities, right? And when you are confident and you are motivated, you are more willing to take more actions towards the goals you want to complete. And when you take more action and take those steps that you need to complete those goals, you're more likely to accomplish your goals, which is going to make you feel even more confident and motivated. And it is a positive cycle, positive feedback cycle. I'm going to throw some scientific terms in there. You know, it tells yourself to keep doing those things because it makes you feel good. So celebrate yourself to feel motivated and confident so that you can take steps to complete your goals. And when you complete your goals, celebrate yourself so you can continue to feel motivated and confident, right? It's a beautiful cycle. And, you know, it might take some time to be like, oh yeah, I need to celebrate myself. Like, you might need to remind yourself, oh, I did this, I should celebrate myself. Take some time, whatever you want to do. And, you know, eventually it'll become a habit. You'll be like, you know what? I went on a run today. I'm gonna celebrate myself, I guess. What else? I don't know. It could be really small things like, hey, I went to the grocery store with a grocery list and got only the things on the grocery list. Celebrate yourself. Or it can be really big things like, hey, I got a promotion. I got the job that I've always wanted, or I don't know, whatever it is, big or small, celebrate yourself, right? Because it makes you feel good. When you feel good, you're more willing to participate and do the things that you want to do that continue to make you feel good. So, a few ways to celebrate yourself include taking a break or taking time off, right? Whether that's from work or from school or from whatever. Maybe you volunteer or you need space from friends or family or whatever it is, right? Take some time off, take a break. That can be a vacation, that can be a staycation, that can be going to the local beach, sitting outside on your deck, whatever you want it to be. Maybe you just decide to take one day off, you decide to take a week off, whatever it is, taking time off for yourself to celebrate the accomplishments that you have achieved. Another way is to celebrate with your friends and family. Maybe you have a dinner or a barbecue or whatever, just a small get-together. celebrating and letting those people know, hey, I did this, and like, I want you to know about it, celebrate with me, can make you feel good, right? Puts you in the center of attention for a little bit and continues to give you that confidence that you need to stay motivated. Another thing you can do is get yourself a gift. Maybe you've wanted a new pair of shoes or a new outfit, a new swimsuit, or you've been dying for some chocolate cake or a cheesecake, or whatever it may be. I know when I graduated college, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy myself a car. And I bought myself a car. I kind of needed a car at the time, but I used it as an excuse to finally get myself a car. And it made me feel really good about myself. And every time I drive my car, I'm like, I bought this for myself to celebrate myself. And it continues to make me feel good. So whatever it may be, maybe you buy yourself a gift. It can be something small too. It doesn't have to be over the top and expensive. Another way is to share your accomplishment on social media. This is kind of similar to celebrating with your friends and family, right? Let people know what you achieved. Don't just like keep it to yourself. It's okay to be in the center of attention. I know that like when I see my therapist, sometimes she'll be like, oh, what's going on? And I'll be like, oh, well, this happened. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Who have you told? And I'll be like, no one. Just be like, what? Why? That's like a great accomplishment that you've completed. Like, you should let people know, let people celebrate with you, because you earned it and you deserve it and you are worth it. I think that's really important for people to remember, that it's okay to share your accomplishments. I know that sometimes people make you feel like you shouldn't be sharing those things, keep it to yourself, but like, what's the point of achieving something if you can't let other people know that you've achieved it? So let yourself be in the center of attention, if that's what you like. You don't have to, obviously. And the last thing I have on my list, it's not an exhaustive list. Obviously, there are hundreds of ways to celebrate yourself, but the last thing I have is to relax. And there's many ways to relax. Maybe you like to take a bath, or you like to read a book, watch TV, or meditate. However it may be, sleep in. I love sleeping in. Just relaxing, allowing yourself to de-stress. Take a breath and be like, yeah, I accomplished that. I did that. And now I'm just gonna like chill for a second before I have to move on to my next thing, right? And let yourself sit and soak in the accomplishment that you achieved. So find the ways that you enjoy celebrating yourself, the ways that make you feel good about yourself and continue to make you feel happy and confident and motivated. Because that is what will push you to achieve more goals. So yeah, I just want to say a couple things before I end this episode. With the ongoing pandemic, I think it is so incredibly important to recognize and celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how big or small, like I said before. Because when you recognize and you celebrate and you take time for yourself, you allow yourself to kind of de-stress and maintain your mental health, which is so important. Because when you accomplish something and you jump right into the next thing, you're just adding on to that stress that you have. You're not allowing yourself to decompress and to just take a breather. And when you're stressed, that can lead to mental health issues. And so celebrating yourself, allowing yourself to de-stress will help you maintain a healthy mental health. Also, you should never, ever feel guilty for sharing your accomplishments or taking time off from work or school or whatever it may be. I think it's really important to remove those societal norms and expectations that have been placed on you that has made you believe that you need to go to work every single day and never use your vacation days. You know, there are people who have like 20, 30 vacation days saved up because they never use theirs, and it's like, they're giving you vacation days for a reason. You should never, ever feel guilty for using those. You've earned them, you've worked for them, and it's important to use them. Because that mentality of feeling guilty for taking time off for yourself is so unrealistic and so unhealthy. It's just not a way of living, because you need time off. Everyone needs time off. You need space from people, you need space from your job, you need space from school. You need space to kind of just regulate. And so it's a really unrealistic and unhealthy expectation to believe that you need to be at work every single day and never take a vacation day or never take a sick day. Like, I, speaking from experience, going through school, like, I think I remember I took a sick day in my 6th grade year, and then I didn't take a sick day for the rest of my middle school and high school career. The only days I had off from school were when my basketball team and my softball team either went to state or we had games that were far away where we had to leave early to be on time. Those were the only times that I took days off, and I wish that I had taken some sick days, because there were days where I was genuinely sick, and you just cannot learn and you cannot be effective in school or in work when you're not feeling well. And so it's okay to take sick days, it's okay to take vacation days, and I want you to know that you shouldn't feel guilty about that. And then lastly, just do what makes you feel good. I know I list a few things here, but there are so many different things. I know people like to hike and garden and I don't even know, things that I can't even think of. Fish. Those are things that I personally don't like and would never choose to do. But I know those are things that make other people really, really good, happy and feel good. So, like, find those things that make you feel good and make you feel happy, and then do them, right? And celebrate yourself. Take time, right? So I'm actually going to challenge you this weekend or over the next week to find a way to celebrate yourself. So that will start by finding something you accomplished, whether that be something small or something big or medium or whatever. Recognizing that you accomplished something. So you need to recognize that you accomplished something and then celebrate it. And I don't mean take 5 minutes to be like, okay, I did this, yeah. No, like, go do something, relax, get yourself a present, take time off, whatever you want to do to celebrate that. I'm challenging you to celebrate it. So that's kind of what I'm putting out there. I'm putting that challenge out there for you guys and for myself. I'm going to try to find something to celebrate for myself, because I know there are things that you have done and that I have done that should be celebrated. So I challenge you to go celebrate those things. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast. If you enjoyed this episode or if you learned anything new, please go share it with a friend. And as always, have a good weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week on the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast.